Welcome to We Know Marketing, We Promise, a podcast where strategy meets conversation. We're Naoma and Kelsey, two agency owners who live and breathe branding and marketing. We're here to share real stories, smart strategies, and fresh ideas to help you build a brand that actually works. So grab a seat and your favorite drink and let's dive in. Welcome back.
Welcome back. We are going to talk about the silent killer of all businesses.
Silent profit killer. I mean, it actually
It also is a killer. It's a killer.
just like this mosquito that keeps biting me. It's tormenting me right now. Yeah, we're talking about scope creep.
Yeah.
The silent killer in a business. And it really is. It kills your profit. It kills your energy. It makes you feel shame because you know you shouldn't have said yes, but you did say yes. And I can count a lot of times I've shame spiraled because I said yes to something that was not in a contract, was not in our original deliverables. And then it messed up our process, screwed my team over, and I spiral. Why am I running a business?
Well, okay. So I think this episode can be two things. One is scope creep.
Are we doing part 1 and part 2?
Hold on. One is scope creep. And 2 is when you break your process and you bend over backwards to please a client. Looking at you.
Mine's mostly in the beginning stages. Once we're in it and functioning with our process, yeah.
See,
mine's in the beginning when I'm selling.
I'm the reverse. I'm like, no, we don't do it this way.
Yeah,
this is our process.
You're a hard ass in the beginning, and then once they get to know you, you're like, I'll do anything.
I'll do anything. I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
You want to run me over with your car? Please. I'll give you $100 to do it.
I'm not that bad.
Just
not that
kidding.
bad, but probably.
No, I just love that example.
But yeah, we're the opposites.
We are. I always do it in the front end. And it's not that I'm even really wanting to close the deal. It's that I get so passionate about what they are doing and I can see, and my brain is already strategizing all the things. Something's happening outside. I mean, it is Halloween, a little spooky.
911 scope creep coming through.
So my initial, and also if they try to negotiate deliverables in for a certain price. So I'll put together a pricing structure and it's here's 3 different packages. And they're like, well, I want this from the top one in the middle, but I don't want you to increase the price or only increase it by $250, something that is very menial. And I'm like, no, maybe.
No.
Or if they want it done in 20 days versus 90 days. And I'm like, I'll stay up all night and do this. Why would I not?
Yeah. And I'm like, absolutely not. You're paying me $10K more to do this.
Yes. I mean, you did. You told me to. And that's why I have to have accountability. I don't have another person in my business, a co-partner.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to reach out to friends for accountability because I'm like, hey, this is what's happening. They want me to do this. What do you think I should do? What would the rush fee be? I now know to pull someone in so that I don't get myself into a situation where I say yes, the main thing I hate more than anything is the shame. It's not even getting the work done and getting it through and I'll do that. I'll figure that out. But the pain of feeling shame that I brought my team through something or I didn't stick to my process and I'm not acting by my values, that bothers me more than anything.
Well, I think what bothers me that you do it for your business. What bothers me for you is yes, your team, but also I know that you cannot do the caliber of work that you can do because you bent over your process. You cannot guarantee your delivery if you are changing the process because the client didn't plan.
Yeah.
And that's usually what it is. The client's like, I forgot marketing is a thing and now I need it. Help. And you're like, you need to call me 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And so now you're bending over backwards. And then 2 months in, they're like, I'm not happy with this. And you're like, well, I'm trying to help you, but I can't, I'm trying to work backwards from the mess that you created. And you don't realize that you made this mess.
Yeah, but I don't, I don't ever blame them because I see my fault in it. And so I'm like, I created this mess, but really like, of course they came to me late, but because I said yes, I have now stepped into their chaos and I've chosen the crazy cycle. And I then blame myself and I beat myself up for that when really
you should have said no.
I should have said no, or this is breaking my process and there's a rush fee for this.
Not just that, but it's like, this is breaking my process, so I cannot guarantee the results that we normally do. That's it.
Right.
It's just being upfront.
Right.
Because that, I mean, I do that. Yeah. Sometimes like things happen and I'm like, shoot, I'll try.
Yeah.
And I think you and I were talking about it the other day. You were like, Naomi, can you just do a visual identity? And I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I cannot just make you one logo. I have to make the full suite.
Yeah. I think I said a mini visual identity or something.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that doesn't even exist.
It does. I mean, it does.
Well,
I mean, there's
not
Fiverr.
in your business.
Not in my business.
Not in your business. And I want you and your brand strategy and your visual identity. So it's like, I know the caliber of work that you do. And so I'm like, no, that makes sense. Then I will tell the client they need to wait.
But that's where I want you to see that for yourself.
Right.
Right. This is
How did this turn into a counseling session? Right.
But that's normally what happens. And I think it's because you say, I want to help this client so much because I can see that that's where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot help people if you don't help yourself. Put the oxygen mask on first and then you can and then you can get run over by their car.
No, absolutely not. And that's where I think I can see, once I was able to see that I was not good at certain things with like the 6 working geniuses, I was able to bring my team into the areas where they are in their genius and not operate and try to do things that I'm not good at. And one of those is I am not great at sticking to my process, but my team is really good at sticking to the process because it affects them a lot. And so if I can pull in, I send the proposal over after I present it on a Zoom call. I send it over, but I CC Abby on it. I then have accountability from Abby to go through like our normal production process. And I did finally get to the point where we redid our production process. And now from like the strategy meeting, the very first strategy meeting to their first post going live is 90 days. And I felt like that was way too long. But if you let me show you everything going on in the 90 days and how much front end work is happening and how much more effective their content is and how quicker results even for their businesses, like sales coming in, revenue numbers, like, yeah, it's 90 days before the first post goes live, but actually the success is being built in that 90 days because that's where the strategy is and that's where we're learning the brand. And you can't learn a brand overnight. I can't fully immerse my team in your brand and your strategy and then have them create content on it in a week. Like that actually does not exist. If you want us to do a great job.
That's the key, right?
Yeah. And that's what I harp on so much is like, don't just post flippantly. And I know that like, we're not posting flippantly, but if we go through this 90-day process, that is the actual opposite of that, like posting flippantly that I tell people to not do. And of course, like when I was doing it all myself, I could squeeze it into 45 days and it was excellent and great. Like that's fine. But now I have 6 people involved.
Yeah. Well, and also the caliber of work that you're doing compared to even 2 years ago.
Yes.
Right. Like how much that's grown, how much you've grown, and also how much even social media is changing that you're staying on top of. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but...
And I just remembered, so you were saying that you struggle more with scope creep after you start the process. So I actually put in a buffer for us to be able to add in some like more spontaneous posts for clients so that it isn't scope creep. They're actually already getting that in their retainer because it comes up so often. And we're also asking our clients for like, what are like events that are going on and what do you have, going on in the office? And someone gets an award or they win this massive case. Like we want to feature that, but that won't necessarily be strategically placed because we don't know when that's going to happen. And so that's almost how I avoid it because we do give them that, or they feel like they're getting that extra, but it's like a buffer cost because we know stuff like that's going to come up. So I am still saying yes, though.
Yeah. So the way I managed scope creep was I just came up with a new product. That's all I did. I was like,
So what were you having scope creep on the most?
well, people would be like, hey, can you make this thing for us? Right. So for example,
Make this thing for us. What, like
let me think
Okay.
through it. So like, for example, one of our clients is a real estate developer, and I could say, hey, this is kind of what you need, right? Here's the package of deliverables. You get 5 brochures a month. You get 3 social media graphics, whatever that package is, right? Naturally, sometimes they need a little bit more. Sometimes they need a little bit less. Sometimes one brochure turned into like 4 revisions over a span of 2 weeks, whatever. And so then I wasn't charging for those extra revisions because I was just being nice.
Were you telling them?
Not at first. Now I am. Now I'm like, hey, just so you know, this is out of scope, but like I'm throwing you a bone. Don't worry about it this time. But I say, don't worry about it this time. I'm being gracious. I'm giving it to you for free, but it's not free.
I gotcha.
Like, so they know that they're getting it, that they have fallen out of
before that,
I would just say, yeah, no problem. And then I'd be drowning. So what I did is, noticing that these things happened, I just put together a new product, and that's our brand HQ. And so it's our subscription essentially to our design services, unlimited design, unlimited revisions. The catch is that we work on 2 things at a time.
Yeah.
And that's it. Because that way I'm like, I can say yes to the client all day long.
It makes it very easy for them to say yes to. There's 3 things in what you just said. Like unlimited revisions. We only do 2 at a time.
Yeah.
That's so easy.
Yeah. So it became a lot easier for them to be like, oh, got it. And also made it easier on us for the team. Like, well, that falls out of scope. And instead of saying, well, that falls out of scope, and now this has become a transactional relationship.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, no worries. We'll add that to our list. What is the priority on that? And that makes it a better relationship instead of a vendorship.
Yeah, that's great. When did that happen?
We came up with that about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we tried it out on a client at the time, and I just said, I was being really upfront with her. I was like, hey, I'm trying out this new service. Will you be my guinea pig? And I'll give you a little bit more of a deal on it. So, and then give me feedback on how this works.
Yeah.
And it went great. We learned, okay, we probably need to up the price a little bit more depending on how much there is. And we've honestly been fine-tuning it for the last 2 years. And I think we're almost at the point where it's like, this is a great, well-oiled machine. And it is a strategy-led subscription.
Yeah. So you're not getting 6 or 7 revisions because you're taking the time on the front end to figure out what are we trying to accomplish? Why are we even making this flyer? Why are you making this social media graphic? Yeah. That takes care of a lot of issues when you're in the process.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think one thing that we would get also is that people would be like, well, I don't know if I can keep a running list of things that I need, right?
And then you have the menu, right?
Well, we have the menu, but we start with the strategy session.
Oh, so then you're building out.
So then we can say, okay,
here's your
90
list.
days, here's a quick win, and here's things that we're just plowing through that have been on your back plate for years, most likely.
Yep.
Because
they haven't had a designer on staff.
They haven't had a designer on staff, or they've had a bad designer on staff, or they don't know how to manage a designer, which is all the things, or they didn't really think that like that was important. Like one thing that I'm always so shocked at, like how people freak out when I give them a Google Doc letterhead. They're like, oh my God, it looks branded. Great. All of our internal documents look branded. I'm like, yeah, it's not that hard. But if you're not thinking about it because you're just going and running in your business, you don't realize that.
Yeah. And you don't realize like what a white glove experience that feels like.
Yeah. Well, and you also don't realize
so
like
simple.
what you really need because, and I didn't realize it either because I'd taken a lot of it for granted because I'm a designer. So I'm like, oh, we need a proposal deck. I can design one.
Right.
we need a capabilities deck. I can design it. Oh, we have all these services that we're naming in cute names. Let's make illustrations for them, right? All these things that like other people don't really have access to because they're not a design firm.
Yeah.
So, but it builds the brand. So how can we help them do that and make it stickier?
Yeah, but I think your even more unique offering to them is that you are a business owner that actually thinks like a business owner. You're not a designer that thinks fully like a designer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not
You
like,
have
ooh, let's make a poster that means nothing.
Yeah, you're not so in the clouds that there's no, like you really are a brand strategist, and that's the unique value that you bring to your clients that are in some type of design subscription. It's not that you can create a social media graphic. It's that you're asking the why. It's that you're thinking about a 90-day plan. And like what I have seen from a lot of creatives, me included, like you get so stuck in what your zone of genius is with creating, doing video, photography, that like you don't know how to run a business in any way.
Yeah.
And so there's no strategy involved. It's like you're not asking any questions. You're just
Wouldn't it be
designing.
cool if we did da-da-da-da-da?
Yeah, and there's no like return for the business, but because you're doing that, they're actually probably seeing a lot of return for business, and then they're staying with your subscription. Because that's the other thing. It's like it's so hard for creatives to retain work without that business side.
But not only that, I think one of the biggest issues that creatives have, and this I'm going to tell every single creative person that's listening to this, make it freaking easy to work with you.
Yes.
Like when I get a proposal and it's a wall of text,
Not reading
I'm
it.
not reading it. I need bullet points. I need phases. I need what am I paying for? What is the delivery of this?
Yes.
And so many creatives do not do it. As somebody who also hires creatives, like I hire photographers, videographers, whatever, the stuff that I get, I'm like, I can't even pitch this to my client.
I know.
So I'm like, can we sit down and can we put a package together? Well, I normally don't do that. I'm like, I bet if you do it, you will sell so much more.
Yeah.
Because you're making it easier to work with. And actually, one of my clients told me that. She's like, I have to go back up to my people and tell them we paid that much money because this and this and this and this is what we got for it. She's like, that's why it's so easy to work with you, because I can always pull out the proposal and be like, this is what we're paying for. It's right here. And they're like, got it. Great.
Yep.
Whereas some others are like,
Yep.
I don't know what we're spending thousands of dollars on.
And I think that's how you also get into scope creep, because you're also not reading your wall of text that's on your proposal every week to make sure you're not stepping out of your deliverables.
No.
And it's not clear. Like I think the way that I kind of fixed, and you helped me with this back in January, was I stopped doing like a monthly package without going through the strategy first, because when you and I whiteboarded that out, what we discovered was that like I would get in, do the strategy session, and then what I had initially pitched to them video wise, graphics, however many posts per week, how many platforms, like it was actually not what was best for their business. And I could not make myself not do what was best for their business. And so I would just like increase the deliverables to match the strategy without increasing the price. And so we were getting into a place where we have a lot of scope creep. We're not profitable. Our packages, really cheap for a ton of work, lots of deliverables. And so what fixed that was just the strategy sessions. Like we start a strategy session and then you get a proposal after we do the strategy session and you pay for the strategy session. And you can either take it and go and execute it, or you can tell me your budget and we can dial down the strategy, but you will know that this is not your ideal strategy that we're executing. So the results will vary as well. And that has worked so much better now that we've been doing that since January.
Which is so crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it works so much better. We have had pretty much no scope creep. Clients have been so much happier. They can choose a package that's within their budget, but they understand that like, here's what we would do if we had endless amounts of money and resources and time, but knowing, and for the goals they're wanting to reach, because that's what it all goes back to, is like they set these goals in that strategy meeting. And I'm like, to accomplish $1 million in 12 months, here's what you would need to do. And here's how much money you would need to spend per month to reach that, because that's a very fast, you're trying to get to $1 million fast for being at $0 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it gives them perspective on how much they need to actually spend on marketing that's going to be effective. Because I think, especially in the social media world, people have paid such a low amount of money because it hasn't had any strategy. And so when they come to me, they're like, golly, why you're more expensive than anyone in this state? And I'm like, well, I'm not doing social media management. Like, I'm doing strategy.
Yeah.
For your business.
You're actually building brand through a social platform.
Right. Yeah. I'm doing brand strategy and then implementing it into their social strategy. And then now I've gotten to the place where it's like, I do a strategy session. I realize all the things they need to do in their business first and like update on their website before we start posting to social. So I'm like, here's the 4 things you should do first. And then here's the social media strategy that we need to execute. But we need to start this in 60 days instead of 30. Because I need you to go do these things first. I don't do those things, but here's some partners that could, help you with those. Yeah. Because then it gets into like, business. In the strategy sessions, you're like, you start hearing about their business problems too. And
oh yeah. Yeah, we do a ton. Yeah. But we do our best work if we do this. I don't do anything without a strategy now. So
same. Yeah. No,
but yeah, that was my solution to scope creep. I was like, I'm never going to be good at this, and I'm always going to say yes because I want more of a partnership and not a vendorship. So how can I make that easy and not be like, well, you only paid for blah blah blah, so now I have to charge you more. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, fine. And I think once again, going back to the strategy. It's not that you're offering a subscription service. It's that you're offering the strategic direction as well. And so there's so much more value in that. And they also trust you. Yeah. Because you're willing to take the time on the front end. I remember I did a strategy session this week and they just said they had worked, they're like multiple $100,000s in the hole on marketing. And they said that I was the first person that took the time to get to know them and ask them these questions.
So crazy to me.
Because I sat with them and I thought they were annoyed that I was asking for a 3-hour strategy session, but they felt so honored that I would want, and that I was so curious with them that I actually asked the questions that I asked and thought a little bit deeper when I saw, or asked even deeper when I saw something kind of shift in them. And they were like, you're very observant, and we've never worked with someone in marketing that has acted like this.
That's because the same solution is not the solution for everybody.
No.
That's the thing is you can't.
And when did we think how
that happened? Because people were like, oh, for 5 posts every week, this is the price it is. That's why. And so people were like, just post rather than how can I strategically align my brand? Yeah. And the thing is with how many businesses are starting, how easy it is to start a business. And I'm putting easy around quotations. But compared to 30 years ago, it's a lot easier to start a business. So the competition is more fierce. So if you're not building a brand, you're going to get swept away. That's the reality.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and social media is one of the best ways that you can build a brand.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that was my solution to scope creep. And we still have moments, but it does come across because Abby is really good at setting those boundaries where it's like, hey, we're absolutely willing to put up, this extra video and get that edit done. But this is outside of, this is outside of our contract. And so we're happy to do it this time. Yeah. And it's a grace or a gift that you're giving the client. And that I'm more okay with than doing things and them not necessarily knowing, because then if you stop doing those things, they'll notice. Yeah. And then they're like, wait, that wasn't a part of the contract. And it's like, and they're like, why would you not say something?
Yeah. I will say, so I remember Emily Cohen saying this, and she said, be generous with your clients, but tell them that you're being generous. Yeah. Because if they don't know, they just expect it. And right now, she was talking about the industry of creativity as a whole, how it's so hard to do, and so many people don't value it like they should. And that that part of the problem is that because it's coming from internally, we're tearing each other down instead of the exteriors. So everybody's just watching us tear each other down until there's nothing left, which is really fun to think about. But she just said, you need to tell clients no, and you need to tell them when they're stepping in bound, and you can tell that you can be nice and you can do things, but let them know that you're being gracious.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot of it's like communication and delivery and actively listening to the client and hearing them out and saying like, I mean, especially if they're in a bind, like they're probably in pain, needing something. And so you can validate the pain that they're in and why they're coming to you with something that's last minute. But what I go back to is like, if I say yes to that, one, I'm not going to put out a good product for you, or I'm going to be bitter or resentful. And that was what happened like, years ago. But I'm so grateful. Like I can't think of a single time this year that I've been bitter or resentful towards a client because of doing work I wasn't paid for or whatever. I also think it's helpful when you were talking, I don't know why I think just the communication was why it came to my mind. The Friday emails and sending like an update on like what you've been working on for that client if they're not in contact with you like throughout the week. And that is something we're starting to implement, and they love to know like where they're at in the process. And we have like a visual, especially if they're in those like first 90 days, to have those like quick wins of like,
this is where they're not seeing anything going out.
Yeah. It's like, and your strategy presentation is going to be on this day. And then we're hoping like our team's brainstorming here. And, I mean, there's been times that we have even sent like, this was our whole team and here's the whiteboard of all of your ideas for your shoot, like sending them a photo.
Oh, fun.
Like showing like, this is what we worked on.
That's
and
cool.
We're so excited for your shoot in a couple of weeks or whatever. Sending a welcome kit, things like that. And then the weekly emails on like, here's where you're at in the Stevie process. And we have a brainstorm coming up and your shoot's going to be on this day and your pre-production call is going to be here. And we've gotten a lot of really good feedback on those.
Man, clients love that Friday email. I didn't send one today because we're a little bit in a transition period, but we're bringing it back next week. But it's such a great touch point because clients are busy running their business, and the last thing you want to do as somebody who's doing work with clients is to let them be like, wait, I haven't heard from Naomi in a while. What's going on with the project? You never want that to happen. So what we started the Friday email to get ahead of that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I have a quick pulse on where my project is at every week. I love that you're doing the photos, and like, that's so cool. Because another thing that I try to really harp with my team, and this is something that we're transitioning into next year, is like bringing in more fun. I think we get so used to this is business and this is what we do. But for a lot of people, what we do is actually fun. Like, this is a fun thing that they're going through.
Oh, absolutely.
Like getting a rebrand or doing strategy. Like, this is really exciting for them. And so how can we bring the hype for them?
Yeah.
And one thing that we wanted to start implementing is how do we make them feel excited and cherished when they're working with us? Yeah.
No, I'm thinking through the same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the fun things to think about.
I know, I'm like, social is so fun. Social media is so fun. Like, we did such a fun video with one of our clients today for Halloween, and that was like out of scope, but it was like they've been on for over a year now and have been a great client. And it took 45 minutes out of our morning to go up there and shoot an iPhone video of their employees dressed up for Halloween. And it was so fun. And I'm so glad we were able to do that.
Yeah.
But they know that's outside of their normal shoot, like that,
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't think we have the firm solution of how to deal with scope creep, except for let clients know when it's happening. And if it's happening a lot, then maybe you need to figure out a way to get around it. Like, what is another solution that you can do rather than what's already working for you?
Yeah. And why, if they're doing things outside of the list of deliverables that you suggested as the expert, why are they asking for things that are like, if you've come to them with a solution and your expertise, like, is there mistrust there? And do you still hold like, kind of that authority as the expert? And because that's also what I saw happen. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways. Like for us, it sounds like we fixed it with strategy, and then like you implemented a new product which had strategy in it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of ways that scope creep can happen depending on the business. A lot of times you just have to have a backbone and be able to communicate.
That, but I also think like you just need to make it so abundantly clear what's included.
Yeah, clear proposals. Dear Lord, that is one takeaway. Like clear proposals, clear communication.
Make it easy to work with you.
Yeah.
Just make it freaking easy to work with you. People will want to work with somebody that's easy to deal with. If
Yes.
I'm having to navigate a novel to understand what you're going to do for me, I'm already checked out.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like,
So-
if you have 3 bullet points on your proposal and a price, love it.
Love.
You're going to get a yes out of me quicker than anything else.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on this episode of We Know Marketing, We Promise. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your business bestie. Want more? Follow us for updates, behind the scenes, and plenty of marketing gems.